Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Hard Truth. Thank you so much for watching. Well, it's time for roll call. I want to give a shout out today to Canada, South Africa, the UK, Australia, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Hungary, Ukraine, Russia, the Philippines, Germany, Singapore, Bosnia and Herzegovina, India, Nigeria, New Zealand, Poland, Thailand, Turkey, and Vietnam. All right, Vietnam, I see you. God bless you all and your families, no matter where you live. I thank God that you made it to another year. I hope that this is going to be one of the great ones. Listen, Ephesians 4:27 says, "Do not give place to the devil." Today I want to talk to you about placeholders. While the majority is asleep, thousands of Antichrist agencies have acquired place in government, churches, and schools. The reason they're so political is because power is the leading agenda. In my opinion, and this video is purely speculation, the Idaho 4 could have been a ritual in response to the fight for the Idaho state abortion ban. Not only that, more rituals are being publicly planned. I mean, publicly. Will there soon be another Idaho 4? Is there a connection between the temple, BK, and Pennsylvania? Ladies and gentlemen, grab that coffee or a nice cup of tea as we begin our story. In my last video, I talked about a term called truncation, how replacing values with a zero actually reduces the number. And since the number is getting smaller, we know that it's gravitating towards negative infinity. Now put a pin in that and let's look at the definition of a placeholder. And this is just in mathematical terms for right now. A placeholder is a significant zero in the decimal representation of a number. A significant zero. In order to achieve truncation, you must have placeholders. You must have significant zeros. This is where I believe Brian Kohberger enters the Idaho 4 equation. First of all, in order for truncation to be the prosecution strategy, we should see evidence of them removing value and replacing it with zeros. Here are some of the values that have been removed from the case thus far, and maybe you can think of more. Number one, the DNA. The prosecution removed the DNA evidence from their own case early on. Early on, they said they weren't going to use it in court, and early on, they asked the judge not to consider the DNA evidence as the basis for the arrest warrant for Brian Kohberger. So they took their own evidence out of the game from day one. Number two, probable cause hearing. Okay, the probable cause hearing would have given us so much information, so much we would have gotten testimony probably. And so to remove that from the equation and replace it with the grand jury, which was absolutely a significant zero, I mean, that was masterful. Number three, from day one, Chief Fry removed them and B up as witnesses. Remember, he was very touchy about that. When the reporter asked him, he said, "I don't think I ever said that they were witnesses." Okay, so he didn't want them in the equation from day one. Number four, Idaho 4's belongings were returned to them out of the house, and 1122 King Road was demolished. All right, the entire crime scene is gone now. So the DNA is gone. The crime scene is gone. We don't know what DM and BF are as far as the prosecution at this point, and we're not going to get a probable cause hearing. It's been removed. That door is shut, and so just to keep knocking on it, to me, is just, I don't know. I would have to go back to the drawing board if I actually saw that happen, that the grand jury is thrown out and they brought the probable cause hearing back. I would be shocked. So we have evidence of the prosecution systematically removing value from their own case. So how did Brian Kohberger become a placeholder for this case? This is where it gets a bit confusing. The abortion ban is not just disputed by the Satanic Temple. For example, here we see Jewish women protesting the ban. Here is what Mrs. Kohberger feels about abortion. This is a poem she wrote for school shooting victims, and in the last line it says, "The children are being buried 6 feet deep." I mean, I find that to be very vivid when talking about death. And I mean, I get it, it's a poem, it's supposed to be vivid or illustrious, I guess, but still, I just find it a bit weird. Then she says she does not personally agree with abortion. She's careful to say that she's only speaking for herself. Someone who avidly believes something is not going to talk about it using social disclaimers. And then out of the blue, she just says that she doesn't support the death penalty. I don't know what that has to do with the kids. Um, she started off talking about the victims of the school shootings, and she says she doesn't personally support abortion, and then she ends the whole conversation making sure we know that she definitely doesn't support the death penalty. She didn't use a social disclaimer. She didn't say, "I personally don't uh, support the death penalty." I mean, she wanted us to know that's not on her agenda. Here is another possible link between um, the satanic rituals in Pennsylvania and the Kohbergers, specifically Brian Kohberger. For those of you who think that this is conspiracy theory, an abortion ban possibly being the catalyst for a ritual in protest, here's evidence of ritualists planning a ritual to protest the ban, right? Okay, give it a chance. Give this series a chance. Trying to tell you.